Conflict with coworkers happens. But what isn't necessary is for a spat to become a state of perpetual and long-lasting conflict with a coworker. In fact, you can resolve any conflict at work quickly and without any drama. Best of all, you don't need any fancy certifications in conflict management to learn how to de-escalate conflict at work. Because coworker conflict is something that happens even if you work with the best people in the world, I wanted to make this video to help you manage conflict at work. I speak with so many amazing professionals who hide from conflict with coworkers. But hiding from conflict doesn't fix it. It festers it. If you want to grow career success, having difficult conversations and resolving conflict is a necessary part of the path. These tips for conflict management at the workplace will help you quickly resolve conflict without any stress, gossip cycles, or office drama. Plus, if you stay all the way to the end of this video, of course, I'm gonna give you a bonus tip in the end. If you love bonuses, tap that like button and let's get to talking about dealing with conflict at work. The first tip is the one that gets skipped most frequently, and it's really the most crucial to dealing with conflict at work. Calm down. Before you walk into any potential conflict with coworkers, you need to make sure that you are cool, calm, and collected. Want to nerd out on the brain science behind it for just a hot minute? In times of conflict, your amygdala activates. That's your fight, flight, or freeze reflex. Which do you do when you have conflict with a coworker? Let me know in the comments down below. Anyways, your amygdala activates and it takes the processing away from the cerebral cortex. That's your logic center. And let's be honest, in order to resolve any conflict at work, we kind of need to have our logic centers working for us. The great news is when your amygdala activates, you just need 6 seconds to get back into the logic center of your brain. Take a deep breath or a long sip of water. That's going to allow the chemicals that activate your amygdala to dissipate, and it's going to give you the opportunity to get back into the cerebral cortex so you can think and act clearly and logically as you navigate conflict with your coworker. When you have calmed down, you've watched this video, and you are prepared to have the conversation, the next tip is to have a live conversation. Got that? No emails, no Slacks, no text messages. Actual live conversation with your coworker. It is required if you want to efficiently and effectively resolve that conflict. It can be a real-life meeting, a video conference, or even just an old-fashioned telephone call. The reason why it needs to be a spoken conversation, and ideally a face-to-face conversation, even if that face-to-face is over Zoom, is that we miss so much communication when we can't hear the tone, the intonation, and see the facial expressions of the person that we're speaking with. Whether it makes sense for you to book this as a meeting or to just informally ask to have a chat is up to you. I know if you're conflict averse, you are cringing right now and hoping that I'm gonna give you an exception, and that I'll tell you that having a Slack conversation riddled with happy face emojis is going to suffice. But I'm not going to. And trust me, you are going to thank me for it. Plus, it's not gonna be that bad because you are going to implement the next crucial tip. And this is one that so many people go wrong on, and it makes their workplace conflict so much worse. In fact, this conflict management tip is so important that if you only implement one thing from the video, it needs to be this. To resolve conflict with a coworker, you need to get onto the same side of the table. I mean that figuratively. You don't physically need to be sitting on the same side of the table because, you know, social distancing and whatnot. In whatever capacity, you work together and you have a shared purpose: success. No matter what your disagreement is, there is likely going to be a common thread that binds you. You both want the product to be successful, to have a positive work environment, and to close that really big deal. Whatever it is, start there. This will transform your interaction because now you're not arguing against each other. You're on the same side, which means if they want to win, you have to win too. Plus, when you do this, you are going to start the conversation from a place of agreement, which is going to set the tone for the entire conversation. All of a sudden, it's not even a conflict, right? If this tip blew your mind, I want you to drop an emoji down below. But we're not done yet, because we're not only going to resolve conflict by getting onto the same side, we're gonna implement the next tip, which is to give them a positive label. I'm gonna share something with you that I've learned over the years. People will either live up to your expectations or down to them. If you give someone a positive identity, such as being a reasonable person, they want to live up to it. They will want you to keep that positive impression of them, and they'll make an effort to do so. Similarly, if you say to someone that they are irrational, they now have a negative label. You set the bar low. Most human beings want to be liked. And they also want prestige, which is exactly what you give them with that positive label. And do you want to know what they don't want? They, under no circumstance, want to lose their prestige. Trust me, all of a sudden, they are going to be tripping all over themselves if they think that they are losing that positive identity that you have given them. And with this glorious conflict resolution tip in place, we are going to move into the next one, which is to focus on facts. If you're confronting a coworker about conflict that you're having on work issues, keep it narrowed and focused to the facts of the situation. Definitely not how they're stupid and making things so much worse. No accusations allowed here. If the coworker conflict is about their behavior, don't focus so much on their behavior. Focus on how their behavior impacted you, the team, or the company, or how it made you feel. The reason why this tip is so important is that each of you is going to be walking into the conversation with your own perspective, bias, and opinions. The exact same conversation about the exact same circumstance and event can have completely different derivatives. Don't believe me? Take a look at any political discussion on Twitter these days. Focusing simply on the facts in the situation is going to help to reduce bias and keep emotions out of it. And that leads me to the next and most important tip to deal with coworker conflict. You need to listen. The key to conflict management is not talking, it's listening. And do you want to know what human beings really want? They want to be understood. When you listen, not only are you going to understand their perspective, but you're going to know what they're really trying to achieve and what's important to them in the process. Do not miss this opportunity. Stop worrying about what you're going to say next and trying to get them to understand you. This is especially true if you were the source of conflict, and this happens at work, so there is absolutely no judgment here. Giving them the space that they need to say what they need to say is going to help you find the best path forward with them. And if you follow all of these tips, you are going to have quickly diffused and resolved the conflict at work. But there is one more thing that you need to do to make sure that there is no residual bad feelings involved, which leads me to the bonus tip. Once you have resolved the conflict, you need to be like Elsa and let it go. To be clear, harboring resentment or staying mad about it is not going to hurt them. It is going to hurt you. The whole point of the conflict resolution process was to resolve the conflict. Resolve means done. If it's done, but you're walking around harboring a grudge, you're going to end up in the exact same spot in no time. If you are feeling any residual negativity, I want you to go and watch this video to help you build a more positive mindset. It's going to serve you through conflict management, I promise. For the best career success advice on this internet machine, make sure you click the subscription button and the notification bell. Give that like button a tap. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.